Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming Videos and more Monster Wilds. Today I have an updated all monsters list for the new monsters of Wilds, featuring the new monsters of course, whatever returning options we have, and the small monsters. I actually made a video with the relevant updated list after trailer 4 dropped. Then they proceeded to drop an extended cut that introduced one, maybe two new monsters to the list. And then we had the Scarlet Forest gameplay, where we got to really look at how Uja-Tuna works. Actual footage of Congalala instead of just an armor set. The Scarlet Forest in general introducing, other small monsters revealed. Basically, my list immediately needed an update, so we're back to cover the newest stuff. So let's begin with the large monster update from the Scarlet Forest, starting with Yian, which was revealed in the extended trailer they released randomly. Yian is a bird wyvern that was introduced in the original game. Its English title is officially Strange Bird, and it is in fact a fire element user. We see it at this extended cut section where we're up high and above the canopy even of the Scarlet Forest. Here there are wudwuds seemingly in a passive or healthy relationship with them. There's absolutely tons of these things though. At first you might think, oh, there's like 5 on screen, but then you look in the air, the background, behind like certain buildings, there must be 10 plus in this image. In any case, it does seem interesting that they're kind of passive or allied with the wudwuds here. It does introduce the potential of 2 other monsters though that we're going to get to in the theory section. Also newly introduced, although we did kind of know about it, is Congalala. Congalala is a pink-furred kind of beast, officially a fang beast, who was introduced back in Monster Hunter 2. It has been quite some time since we've seen Congalala now, and in fact it was Ryozo who said that this is one of the most requested monsters to return to this series by far. So it's certainly a fan favorite. He does have some really cool unique mechanics if you're unaware though. He's basically a mushroom collector and he eats them, giving him new powers. So he can gain powers of poison, blast, and paralysis as just some examples. In the footage that we see of him in the Scarlet Forest though, he does eat 2 mushrooms. Firstly with the poison one that turns his breath into poison, but then later eats a blast blight mushroom that he appears to steal from you specifically. I guess that breaks up the gameplay a lot less, but I do wonder whether you need to have that mushroom in your inventory for him to be able to steal it, or he just does it somehow. They also told us some new mechanical stuff to do with it, like the different kinds of breaths that he uses. The default kind of dung breath, the poison one, and the blast blight, they all have different sizes and shapes in this footage. You look at the poison cloud and how it comes out versus the blast blight one that's kind of more straightforward and faster. How will that work with the other ailments and such? We'll have to see, but it's a cool concept. He is very familiar though in mechanics. The classic triple punch combo that sends him falling over, or his very familiar sleep animation, the belly bounce, and we're interested to see how he changes beyond this. But yes, people are excited for this pink fur beast. One of the wudwuds in the hideout. It was wearing its own unique pink fur outfit, laying on a pile of pink fur. Right, next we should talk about Uja-Tuna. Uja-Tuna is found specifically in the Scarlet Forest because it is indeed the apex predator. We actually got to see quite a bit of gameplay and combat with it. There's still a lot of questions that we have about this one, but it is a massive Leviathan. Something revealed in the gameplay was some notes on the left side of the screen when you're looking at the map. There you can see a kind of scribbling of Uja-Tuna and how it has these 4 kind of wings that form the veil, and under that actually a surprisingly small body in relation to the size of those wings, as it were. In any case, it's quite a beautiful creature when plenty occurs, when it's not going during its storm phase. You can see how it's kind of a deep red and almost multicolored on those wings. Though you should only really find Uja-Tuna initially during the downpour. 2 main unique mechanics are tied to this creature though. Firstly, the wave mechanic. During the downpour then you have intense water levels. The currents are way more intense, they're higher. And that plays into the mechanics of Uja-Tuna, who uses various attacks, slams, spins to send out waves of this water. This will knock you off balance or even knock you down, making you take damage. So the initial attack you have to dodge, then the kind of echoing wave is another thing to deal with. We are wondering if there's going to be a skilling game to help you dodge these and how you properly dodge them, because from the gameplay we were watching, the hunter is getting hit by every one of them. This will also build up water blight, so you got to be careful. The other unique mechanic then is the actual veil. Lore-wise, it makes use of moisture and its own bodily fluids to create a protective veil. This is shown when you attack it, and you can see these blue damage numbers and a kind of shield symbol. At no point did this hunter manage to get through that veil, so we are wondering how you will. Whether you break the wings, you take it to a new area, get out of water, but obviously there will be a way, we just don't know it yet. Next we have quematrice, which we do have actual gameplay of beyond the trailer now. but it's not the best gameplay. Basically, they started in the plains and then engaged it. They just sort of looked at it, and we could see that it's got some interesting kind of chicken behavior where it's pecking at the ground. But the hunter pretty much just lured it into some small monsters that attacked it, never really engaging with it beyond that. We did learn that it's officially the smallest brute wyvern though, and if you didn't already know, it basically generates a kind of substance along its tail that when it drags on the floor, it generates fire. And we saw in trailer 4, it made use of a spin attack to send that out. So we'd love to learn more about this, and hopefully soon we will. The next monster we want to highlight is La-La-Barina, because we finally have some proper gameplay. You will find that it is indeed a ballerina, spinning around and trying to stab at you with its stinger from the behind. It uses this kind of predictably and slower when not enraged, but if it does hit you, that's going to be instant paralysis, which is a key feature of this monster. For example, we get a great showcase of the Lala florets, which are these floating flowers that come out from the flower abdomen. So when she pulls that out, you know it's coming. When you touch these, it builds up a bit of paralysis. You need to touch multiple though before that actually triggers. There's a new UI thing where we can see it building up and filling up that icon, or a number that's ticking down to show how long you're going to be stunned for. You can break these though by attacking them, seemingly with bowgun, maybe melee attacks, we would expect so. But yes, they're very potent, and so you need to manage them. We see them again in the La-La-Barina doshaguma turf war, where Lala knocks down Dosha, generates some of these florets, jumps on the back of doshaguma, and then gets ripped off and punched in a triple combo. Apparently these two are relatively equal in terms of power, because they both dealt damage to each other in a turf war. Having said that, even though Lala does run away here, doshaguma gets paralyzed by the florets from earlier, so yes, it's definitely relatively equal. When she's enraged though, she does kind of hold out the flower a lot more, and is generally a lot more agile and aggressive, using the stinger in multi-hit combos compared to one in more obvious ways. She also uses her big claws kind of aggressively too, but interestingly, you can destroy her stinger. You can actually damage it while she's enraged and break it, which can only be done while she's enraged, so I expect that stinger is going to be an important material in general. But another detail is that we noticed that it took a while to generate wounds against her. We are wondering if some monsters are resistant to that feature, or whether it's just the gameplay. We also got to look at Lala's nest, which is in Area 4 of the Scarlet Forest. Here it's just basically a cave where she's going to be able to use some unique moves she can't use anywhere else, which is really cool because she's not an apex. So monsters in general do get some powerful nests to use, not just the apex predators. So that's the roster of new large monsters talked about. Other large monsters we know are coming are, say, Arkveld, the white wraith, the flagship of the game, which at this time we don't have an exact species of. It was expected to be extinct lore-wise, but what we're calling it for now is the chain-blade wyvern, because just like Frontiers, it's a very familiar concept, using these whips, these chains on the end of wings, being kind of like a flying wyvern, otherwise. We have a whole video on this monster if you want more details about it. There's a lot of mystery about this flagship. Apparently, we're going to learn more about it soon though, so we'll see. After that, familiar names that we all know at this point: doshaguma, we have Chatacabra, we have balahara, and of course Raidal, the apex predator of the plains. Also in that list, you can consider the seikret a large monster. We're just allied with it. And we have two unrevealed monsters right now. Some sort of plague-related monster with the hammer set that we saw in the hammer trailer. A very purple theme here, but yes, it looks kind of creepy spooky. On the other hand, there's another kind of purple enemy with the switch axe weapon set that we saw in the weapon trailer. This appears to be some kind of crab or bug kind of monster. Again, we've not seen anything like that yet, so there's more to come. In terms of returning monsters, we know that Rathalos is back because in that original trailer, he literally flew over the plains, letting us know, yep, he's back again. There are more large monsters to talk about though, but we'll get to that in the theory section. For small monsters, we do have an update in the Scarlet Forest. Thanks to Joe Bustos, one of the community managers, we got a translation when passing by this small monster early into the gameplay. He wasn't certain about the name, but said it's something like Pirika, so we'll have that confirmed soon, I'm sure. But they are confirmed to be Leviathans, small ones. And according to Joe, they swim in packs like we see them here, and they swarm monsters that are hurt, but also you if you're hurt too. So essentially anything that's bleeding near it, it senses and attacks. So that could be very useful in a monster fight, or even backfire. Also, because we had Congalala, we also had Congas confirmed. We literally walked right past them as we go into that really cool nest with all the honey and stuff. The hunter did not engage with them, but yeah, it was really expected we'd get them back when we thought Congalala was in the game. Another small monster revealed by this footage though is the Gajou, the big piranha fish type. We saw it when the hunter dropped down into Area 17, just in the outer bounds area. So maybe we'll find some inbounds as well. Other than that, the small monsters already known were ceratonoth and Dalthodons too. There's the new wing drake, which is the balahara, which appears to be a source of screamer pods, so these do seem pretty important in regards to, say, the balahara. And then a new insect type that's called pukei, which are basically these mosquito ant-like things. We got a good look at them in the recent footage. They look very alien-esque. We do have the new Talioth raptors, which are basically these scrawny, carrion-style, desperate raptors that show up in the Windward Plains, supposedly most of all in the fallow period. And these are the ones that we see kind of jump at the quematrice and bring it down in that gameplay today. Of course, another new one is the gaijos, which are basically those crocodile types that come out of the water and prey on different animals at different periods. We can rip bleeder pods from their teeth, which is pretty brutal. We do have thunderbugs back, but they're working in a different way, where you kind of activate them and then let a monster run into them. We have Aptonoth and Murnoth, both found in the base camps. There is a new wing drake that's very blue that we've seen. It looked like during the Scarlet Forest gameplay that the hunter interacted with one to create pods. But you know, I can't read Japanese. And obviously we can't forget the wudwuds, the new Linian tribe. We did get some new information about them. They went to the hideout, saw there was a lot of ways you could interact with them and some quite unique characters here. But you could also go to the roof of the hideout, and at night they gather there and the campfire starts going. They told us over voice rather than showing us that you can give food to the wudwuds here, and they'll do the equivalent of a motley mixed food service. So, some new information for sure. But that brings us to the theory stuff. Very likely, but not certain. Rathian is likely to come back because Rathalos is in the game, and she's been in every game he has, so it does seem pretty foregone, that conclusion. But the two that I mentioned earlier because of Yian Cuckoo are going to come up. Firstly, we have konchu. These are basically prey for the Yian Cuckoo. They're like a little shield bug that they hunt and eat. So much like Congalala and the Congas, it seems like they'll be in, but we haven't seen them yet. On that note, if you zoom in at the top and look at this different looking Yian Cuckoo, kind of looks a little purplish. We're wondering if this is a really subtle reveal of Yian Garuga. And there's this concept of herds, right? And the alpha in the herd. What if the Yian Garuga is the alpha of the Yian Cuckoos? It's a really cool concept. We're not certain, but it might be one. And then lastly, the last two theory things are to do with those drawings I talked about earlier. On the left side, when you open the map during the Scarlet Forest, there's kind of hunter notes and drawings. Here, we can see a kind of snake creature wrapping around something. We don't know if that's an endemic life or an unrevealed snake wyvern. And then next to that is a huge kind of bird shape, which again is very unfamiliar. So could there be a new bird wyvern in the Scarlet Forest revealed in these notes? Right now, it's purely theory, but it deserves a mention in this video. But there you have it. That is the full roster updated, the new large monsters, the returning ones, and all the small monsters. I hope this was interesting and useful to you. If we've missed any, please let us know. But for now, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.